Hey, and welcome to IMO, in my opinion, with J&M. Jonathan.
Yes.
What's up, man?
Tell you what, that was a rough watch.
What was a rough watch?
Watching you try to hit a golf ball.
Oh, yeah, we went to some cheap version of Top
You look
Golf.
like a blind kid trying to hit a wiffle ball.
You're full of shit.
It was awful.
You're full of shit.
Come on. No,
This is how you want to start the show? Really?
I mean, it's the truth.
I hit the ball further than you.
Yeah, but I got LPS. Large pec syndrome. I can't.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
That's the truth.
Oh, geez.
And you got longer arms
I will.
than me.
Oh, my God. So you're going to give that one, you're going to give that excuse too?
Yeah.
Come on.
Every chance I get.
That's the same thing you tell me when I beat you in that stupid punching thing at the arcade.
That only happened once.
Like every time we ever do it.
Yeah, the one time.
No, we've done it more than once.
No, it's not true.
Okay. Moving on from that. So we have a very, very, very special guest. A friend of mine, he reffed games that I played basketball in. He is also a very important person in the city of Chicago. He is a police officer. He serves his community and all that good stuff. Larenzo.
How you guys doing?
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. I want to say thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We're struggling to find guests, so
are we?
We're very appreciative.
I feel
actually,
like
we're not.
We're not that bad right now. I think we
good.
got a couple lined up still.
Nice.
But I've been trying to get someone who's a member of CPD, just because, you know, we hear a lot of our side of the story on TV and on social media. It's rare we get an opportunity to hear from someone who actually serves the community, you know, who's actually in the force. So I will give you the floor and you can introduce yourself, what you've been doing, how long you've been doing it, stuff that you're struggling with, whatever. I think you were injured.
Yes.
Talk about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll give you the floor.
Okay, absolutely. Well, again, thank you guys for allowing me to be here on your platform. I really appreciate it. For those who don't know me, most people know me, Larenzo or Angelo from back in the day. And as Miguel said that, I do work for the city. I am a Chicago police officer here in our great city of Chicago. So
Rough city right now, but
very rough city.
still love the city.
I love the city. You know, I thought about, you know, obviously relocating, but I have kids, so it's kind of tough to just up and relocate, you know, when you have family. So it's tough.
So what's how'd you get started? What made you want to join the force and all that stuff?
So interesting. Like, I always wanted to be in law enforcement, even, you know, in high school, and even in my adult years. I started late. So for me, I got on the force 3 years ago. So I was in my mid 30s then.
Okay.
So I wasn't, I felt I was not ready in my 20s because I still was like enjoying life and I wanted to like live life and learn things, and I'm all for it. So the opportunity came and I was like, all right, now I'm ready. And I applied and went through the process, and I got it. And going through the process, I actually had applied to go federal because a lot of people were like, "Oh, dude, go federal, go federal." Federal was like the way to go. So I ended up going federal. I tried it, and then there was a hiring freeze, and then I couldn't get it, and then I ended up just basically reapplying for the city again because I had dropped out of the process, and then I got it. So, and ever since then, I've been on, and I have fun when I go to work.
That's rare because John doesn't have fun going to work ever.
Absolutely.
I don't either.
Oh,
No, well, you know what? I think when when you love something, you know, you don't. It's that cliche say, right? Like when you love something, you don't work a day in your life.
Exactly.
You know, and you know, we all strive to find jobs like that. Unfortunately for me and John, we don't really find jobs like that.
I love so little. I don't have anything I love.
You should go work for Mama Luna Pizza.
Ooh,
I do love
You
pizza.
love Mama Luna
That is
Pizza.
true.
You know, this funny that you brought it up is I was there earlier today, and I was talking to the guy that works there, and his sister and her husband, they are the managers there, and he's like, "Dude, we're struggling to get workers to work here."
There you go, John.
He's like,
there you go.
We need everything. We're struggling to have people to come here. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He said he's been there for 3 years. He loves it. But I was like, all right, cool. That's what's up. If I see people in need for a job, man, I'll let them know.
I would eat up their inventory. That would not be a good idea.
Holy crap. Okay, so you joined the force.
Yes.
What was your like initial experience? Like, what did you feel? It was like excitement, Did you have any fear of anything?
No,
nervousness, anything like that?
No. So I grew up on the west side of Chicago. I grew up in the Austin area, so I seen a lot of things growing up, right? Okay. So for me, it was not a matter of being surprised to the things I would see. Also, before I joined my previous job, before that, I did IT for 9 years, right? Okay. So I know how to fix computers and stuff. So the last job I had before that, I worked at the Cook County Medical Examiner's office. Wow. So people were like, "Yo, dude, you work at the morgue?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "How do you stomach that?" Like,
I was about to. You took the question from me. I was about to say that. Like, oh man,
how do you stomach that? I mean, I think that everybody's different with the way they process things. And for me, I adapted very well. Like the first week there, I saw some stuff. The first day, a firefighter died that day. He ended up dying that day. Wow. So I got to see the whole like processions and the process of how they take a fallen member in the line of duty, and I got to experience that even before being, an officer. So right. I was like, wow. And then obviously what happened last week, we lost an officer, and we actually have one still recovering right now in the hospital. Yeah. So it was now I got to personally experience the whole process. You know, and then obviously the situation that took place, it hit home for me because the officer that lost her life, I actually knew personally. We worked in the same district together, and so it was a little hard and tough for me.
Wow, yeah, that was a bad situation. Like, I feel weird about that one. As information comes out, I think the one thing that bothered me was like when they reported that the police officers didn't even draw their weapons.
Correct.
And I'm like, and there's some people that'll say, because I remember I used to work at Walmart down the street years ago. Okay. And I used to have a bunch of young kids that would work for me. And, we would have conversations, we were always in the back, so we talk about whatever. And we started talking about, police officers and how, they pull people over and whatever. And they would say, like, why does the police officer always have to come at me with like their hand on their gun and this and this? And in my head, I think I know why, and I'm pretty sure it's for the reason I think. Like me, I think it would be they don't know what's going to happen. You're walking up to a car, and whoever's in the car has the tactical advantage there. Absolutely, because you're walking up, you see only through a window, if even that, because they have tents, whatever. You see even less. If a cop pulls me over, I can kill that cop before he even gets close enough to my door.
Absolutely.
And the cop has to have a chance to try to defend himself at some point, right?
Absolutely.
And if he's not ready for it, then in my opinion, this is when situations kind of like this happen, where like, not saying that they didn't do their job, and they were probably thinking more in the give the people the benefit of the doubt thought.
Absolutely.
But I understand when sometimes police officers pull weapons quickly.
Yes.
Because you have to react. You can't wait for something, because if you wait for something, that could be the last thing you wait for.
Absolutely.
And everybody has to go home.
Absolutely.
You have kids, wife?
No.
Okay. Hey, that's fine. But you have to go home to your kids.
Absolutely.
Or your significant other, whatever it may be.
Significant other, brother, sister, parent,
Exactly.
Yeah, you want to go home to that.
Right. So I'm just like, in a way, I feel like the city caused some of this stuff to happen. Not 100% their fault, but it's like we put police officers in a bad spot. That's how I feel. I feel like we put police officers in a bad spot, and I don't blame them, because and they're upset, and I get it, because I know they went after the mayor and all this crap, but we won't talk about too much about that. But I don't know. What was your first? Did you have what was your first interaction? Like traffic stop, call? What was it?
If
you remember,
it just depends. I started out doing my training cycles downtown, so I had the 18th district, and it has all the nightclubs.
Great.
So that was a good experience. It has all the nightclubs, so I got to experience the nightclubs in the summertime. I got to experience North Avenue Beach in the summertime.
Awesome.
So I had a blast. Like I said, everyone thinks, when you go to work that, you're a cop, that, everyone's like, a Bruce Willis, that they're just this diehard junkie that just wants to go out here and get in, foot chases and everything like that. And, the foot chases are not all that, because those things are very dangerous too, because, you have this thing. And even when you're playing in sports, you have tunnel vision.
Yeah.
So even on this job, you have tunnel vision. You're chasing someone. Your focus is on that person, but you are not focusing on, everything outside of your peripheral, Right. So you're focused right here. So with that, that's just, the experience and the training helps. I would say this, that, I heard Illinois State has one of the best trainings when it comes to training law enforcement, and even state police. They get like top military training. And for us, obviously I didn't go through the process and I don't have any military background, but for me to get the training I got, I thought it was pretty intense. Like the training that we go through is pretty intense, and they put you in a lot of situations that is, what if this could happen to you? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so on the 3 years that I've been on the job, I've been in pretty much a lot of situations, not intentionally, but that's just, the way our city is.
Right.
So it's just one of those things. So for me, the first thing that I ever done, probably on the call we had, was like a burglary, but someone left the garage door open and they thought someone like broke into their garage. And so they called, so I was just like, whatever. But, it's just, like
I wanted some excitement on my first time out.
Well, but you're nervous.
No, of course.
Because, it's your first time out here and you don't want to mess up. And then, when you're on probation. So, you mess up, you do anything wrong, that can cost you your job.
Right.
So you have to just make sure, you're dotting your I's and you're crossing your T's.
Right.
So
how long is the probation period?
18 months.
Oh no,
18 months.
I would not.
But it's not that bad. So it's 18 months, but it's 6 months in the academy. Okay. 6 months in the academy, and then it is 1 year on the street.
Okay, so basically like a year.
Yeah, well, yeah, but in the academy, you still have to be careful and what you do and everything like that. So it's just one of those things. And so I went from a district like that downtown and dealing with like taxi cab drivers, Uber drivers, people calling about like dogs barking in their high rises, or their neighbor's dog barking in the high rise and stuff like that. Yeah, to working on the west side of Chicago.
A little different there.
A very huge change, and you really learn the job. But for me, it's always been fate. Like for me, it's like, wherever they send me, it's fate for me to go there. I always, like I said, I grew up on the west side, right? So, growing up, seeing a lot of things, how policing was back in the day, it's different now because cameras are everywhere.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
The cameras are everywhere, So it's just, now everybody's a lawyer. Everybody's an internet lawyer, and I never got that.
Everybody's a professional.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Everyone knows all this stuff. And then they sit there and they go online, they watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and then they're like, I know laws. And it's like, no, you watch Joe Smith act a fool on camera and you're like, oh, Joe Smith has a point. But you never researched or did your own like due diligence to say, "Oh, is he right?"
Right, and I think that's the problem with most people. I think most people tend to watch something and then automatically assume they know why the outcome became.
Yeah, they know every article of every section of every law,
and that's not the case in a lot of situations. It's definitely, everything is usually more complicated than what it seems to be when you just watch it.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to stuff with police officers nationwide, not just here. Situations are very complex. We just automatically assume something because we saw it and our brain determined it one way. But sometimes we have to just say, you know what, I got to stop for a second. Let me get all the facts and then come up with a conclusion.
Exactly.
But we don't do that. No. We tend to just, this is white and this is red. That's it. Okay, but there's a lot of colors in between there.
Exactly.
We don't want to pay attention to that. We just automatically think, and a lot of it's based on where we stand in life. And I think that's wrong too, because we all come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, whatever. We can't just assume. No. And I think that's the problem with the city right now. We assume a lot, and we shouldn't.
That's a problem with society. Everyone's so quick to just watch a portion of a video and be like, oh my God, like this just happened. And it's like, no, what happened before they started filming?
Yes, that happens a lot. And that happens a lot where like it'll be like something like an interaction between police or whatever, and it'll be, oh, it's just this clip.
Yeah.
Where's the clip before?
Where's the clip before that?
And where's the clip after?
Yeah, like, okay, you have a clip of an officer pushing a guy, and now the guy is on defense mode. And now he's like, oh, hey, you saw him? He just shoved me. But what you didn't do was you did not record
what happened, why it led up to the shove.
What led up to the shove,
right?
That you were the aggressor.
Sure.
And now they're responding back to you and got the reaction you want, and now you want to put it on video.
And you press the record button just in time.
Just in time to catch that one.
How ironic
thing.
that it always happens that way, right?
But that's how
it's never. And
when
you're
the director of that,
and that's where the problem
clip.
is. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I think what people fail to realize is that your guys' job is not an easy job.
It's not.
I mean, excuse me, I don't know what's going on. I wouldn't do your job. I would not. John, would you? Man. I wouldn't. That's a hell of a job, man. And I freaking applaud you guys because I mean, think about it. I know Lori's not being looked at really well, but something she said kind of made sense. I mean, you guys put your lives on the line. You guys put your badge on, your uniform on to defend complete strangers.
Absolutely.
You know, and you guys are not perfect.
No.
You know, no one's perfect.
Not at all.
You know, I mean, again, we're asking law enforcement to protect us. Like I'm not taking a bullet for nobody. I'm not going to try to stop anybody from shooting. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's me. You know, that's why I'm not in law enforcement. I'd be a horrible officer. I would be a horrible officer. But you know what? I'll come back. When you guys calm down, I'll come back. That's what I would do. You know, but it's a tough job. And I think people don't really understand what it entails. You know,
when you put that star on, you are, man, you're a marriage counselor. You're a parent. You're a father figure. You name it, you have to do it because of the calls you get.
Right, because you're dealing with so many different types of people.
So much stuff, so many different difficult things, and so you have people who have a hard time controlling their child, right? And they call you for help, and you go to help, and you try to talk to this child because you could be an older brother who raised a younger sibling, right? Or you are a parent and you have kids, so you know how to deal with certain things. So you try to control that situation. You know what I mean? And or when you go in these domestics and it's a husband fighting his wife because she found out he was out and about on social media liking pictures, or he was out with someone and he said he was going to be at work and he wasn't at work. So now you're coming into the situation to find out what's going on. You're getting all the facts, you assess the situation, and then you go from there. But you're like, okay, look, man, like now you're in the middle of this and you're trying to control that situation as in, all right, dude, like right now what you need to do is that you need to like basically like just go someplace else if she's going to be, so upset at you right now. No, don't sleep on the couch because when we leave, she's not gonna let you sleep.
It's gonna escalate again.
She's gonna be upset when we leave. Yeah, she's not gonna allow it. She's gonna be like, all right, you know what? All right, they gone. It's cool. I'm gonna calm down. And now she's like, all right, round 2.
Yeah,
let's go.
Of course,
Lorena Bobbitt situation.
Yeah,
yeah. And the thing is, no one, like, I don't know if you guys saw the documentary, but like no one got the facts about it, right? Like, oh, she was just crazy. No, she actually went through some things, man. Physically, mentally, like, yeah, she went through some things that led up to her doing what she did.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but then again, that's the thing. We don't wait for all the facts.
No,
you have to look for these facts, and I just go by the same concept. Like I kind of, say that I'm kind of a fact type of person. I'm a realist, right? Like, so I don't like to make my mind up unless I look at every angle, whatever. He knows in certain situations I was like, oh, I bet you there's more video. I bet you there's this. Bet you there's that. Because everybody was like, oh, this is so clear, cut and dry, and I'm like, I don't know. It just seems like it's a little too clear cut and dry.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it is. I'm not saying sometimes it's very obvious what's going on, right? If I put a bullet in somebody's head, obviously that's pretty obvious. But again, like you said, there's always more information. There's always stuff. And I feel like people just need to slow down sometimes.
Well, you got to know who this guy is. He questions everything.
I do question everything, but that's not a bad trait to have.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It is when something's obvious and it's
No,
right in
but-
front of your face, and you're like, no, there's got to be another way.
I'm always like, there's always got to be a different way.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's like the whole believing in a non-win scenario. I don't necessarily that's necessarily true. There's always a way to figure something out. And I'm because I'm an improver type. So like if you have the courage to watch one of our first episodes, like you could see, like I'm one of those where like,
Don't.
this has got to be better. I can improve this. He's the opposite. He's like, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. If I would have listened to him, it still would have looked like we did a year ago or a year and a half ago, and not as good as it does now, or sounds as good as it is.
I think my wedding outfit was like 2 sizes too big, and I told the tailor, it's fine. I just wear it like
It looked huge on you.
Yeah,
wow.
It looked pretty big on you. So yeah, it's all right. It's all right. So
Oh man.
let's keep going with what you've experienced. You want to talk about your injury? Your
We can talk about it. It's not an issue or problem. So so last year, August, I was involved in a shooting. Basically, I didn't shoot or fire my weapon back, but I did have someone who did shoot me.
Okay.
So I was shot in the line of duty. Have I ever imagined even being a civilian getting shot? No, I didn't. But it happened, right? And one of the things that
So you weren't on duty at the time.
no, I was
You were
on
on
duty.
duty. Okay.
I was on duty at the time, but
Okay.
you know, I never thought about that. You know,
Okay.
like the whole thought process of and this is a thing that everyone always say, and like even recently, you see everybody on social media saying, "Oh, you guys are cops. You know what you signed up for."
That's oh my god, that
it's
blows my
bad.
mind, bro.
Dude, it's
that's
like-
that's the biggest bullshit. I swear to you, like people are stupid. Like really, that's what that's your only dig. Like you know what you signed up for. They signed up to do a job
to protect,
and serve,
you know?
not to take bullets to the head or
Yeah,
anything.
they
That's
gotta
not.
reword it.
Yeah, I mean,
You signed up knowing what the possibilities are. You didn't sign up to actually get shot.
Yeah,
Right.
to say, "Oh, well,
that's a fucked up.
today's
That's
the day."
fucked up claim. Like I think that's horrible to say.
Yeah.
But it said a lot. And you know, I've lost a lot of friends on social media, in person, and I tell them respectfully, you know, and it's no love lost. I don't hate you. I don't do anything. It's no love lost. It's if you have a problem with all law enforcement, not the person you had a bad encounter with, then it's everybody. So that one bad, what they say, one bad apple ruins the bunch. That's, you know, no, it doesn't.
That's not fair to say either.
It's not. It's not. But these are the things that obviously we see people say all the time, right?
Right.
Sounds like somebody's cousin.
Oh God, stop, leave her alone. Let's leave her out of this. But again, it's just so stupid because it's just like, dude, the percentage of what we call bad cops
Right.
is probably low as hell.
It is.
I mean, as compared to you know, crime or whatever. I mean, how in the world can we put them all in the same bunch?
They do.
There's no way. I like what's going on with me today? I know a handful of officers, and I know every single one of them are good officers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They wear their badge and they do their job. You know, they've never had a problem. Yeah, of course, there are bad cops out there.
Yes.
Just like there are bad people out there.
Yes.
But we don't group them all together.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to name the person, but she was all about that ACAB, right?
Oh, the all cops are bad
And
crap.
she said
That's
it-
the dumbest thing
it
too.
doesn't mean all cops are bad. Well, it's in the title. So what do you expect?
That was the
me
argument
to,
we had.
like, it's so
Again, I'm
stupid.
not trying to throw her under the bus. I'm really not. But I remember she even sent me a video to try to explain it.
Okay.
Right. And I took it into heart. I listened to it. I watched it, and I get what they say.
Okay.
It's just stupid. Like it doesn't make any sense. It would be like if I think I've used this example before. So Hispanics are high up in the crime rate in
Okay.
Chicago. They commit a lot of crimes.
Okay.
Right. Is it so if let's say 5% of cops are bad and crime in Chicago is led by 80 to 90% by Hispanics. Okay, so there's more Hispanics, bad Hispanics, than there are bad cops, just by percentage wise. Is it fair for me to say that all Hispanics are bad, even though the numbers agree with me? Probably not.
No. Yeah.
It's not fair to say because there are good Hispanics out there.
Absolutely.
So why don't the rules not follow suit when we talk about officers? Because yes, there are bad cops. Don't get me wrong, and they probably should have their badges removed, and whatever comes their way comes their way. But there are plenty of good cops in this city that do their job.
A lot of good cops.
And we as a society, and I include myself in there because obviously I'm part of the city, we are throwing shade at them when we shouldn't be.
No.
You know, when again, none of us would do, the majority of us would not do what you guys do. You know what I'm saying? Like, run down a criminal, go towards guns instead of running away from guns. Because I'm running. I mean, I'm throwing myself on the floor. You're running around in a circle like a dumbass. But I'm sorry, I talk too much. Go ahead. Continue.
No. But everything, it's funny. Like everything that you bring up and you're mentioning right now is stuff that I have talked to friends in the last week.
And you shouldn't lose friends for this. And I'm sorry. One more thing. And I think it's another thing that I find weird about people. If you don't agree with the majority, you are a Nazi. And I'm so against that. Like,
Apparently.
we can disagree on a lot of things in life. We're not all the same people, right? You're a Sox fan. I'm not a Sox fan. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, we can still be friends. We can have this conversation right now.
Absolutely.
And if we argue hard as hell right now, right? At least for me, once this is over, we're still friends.
We're still friends.
I'm not worried about all that. Me and John argue all the time. But at the end of the day, you know, we're always cool. It's like playing basketball. Like, how many friends, when you play, you get into really heated battle with people? I've met some of my best friends that way.
Yeah.
You know, because we respected the game. We talk shit, and while we're playing, after the game, we're all good. Yeah. Good game, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Back on the court, hey, screw you.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it's all part of it is what it is. We can always still be family, still be friends, whatever. It doesn't matter what opinions we have. Everybody has different opinions. I think people lose track of that.
Yeah.
You know? But that's just my 2 cents.
No, I mean, dude, you're absolutely right. Like, you know, like I said, you know, I also like referee basketball games. Obviously, we met that way as well. And you know, we talked about it. And it's just like, you know, on the court, it's, you know, it's a game. It's competitive, you know, right? So, you know, a lot of people who play sports have that competitive mentality because that's just how they are. They want to win, right? So it feels good to be rewarded, right? So, of course, you're going to argue with your teammates about something and you know, and say some things. And, you know, you're saying it out of anger because you're upset. And then obviously, you know, you don't want that to be, you know, because as soon as the game over, dude, we're going to high five. We're going to talk about it and we're still going to be cool. We're going to be friends and stuff like that. But, you know, again, that's just a part of that, you know? So I look at it like that, even, you know, in this profession, you can't sit there and be like, oh, well, we're going to act this way. You know, like I said, you know, I'm not a person where I'm very fair across the board, right? So for me, it's like I'm going to speak up or say something if something is wrong, right? Or you do something wrong, it's wrong. Like we see a lot of videos, we watch videos all the time, and it's like, oh man, but we can't sit there and I always tell people this: you can't Monday quarterback a situation because you don't know all the variables, right? You don't know everything that's going on.
You're not in the fucking game.
You're not in the game.
You don't know the pressure that
you don't know what that quarterback is doing. You're like, oh man, he was open, right?
I could have threw it over here.
Yeah, like right. You could have thrown.
I mean, you could do it. You could do it playing Xbox as you're sitting on your fucking couch.
Exactly.
You don't know what it's like to have a Brian Urlacher coming right at you.
Exactly.
You have no idea what that person's thinking.
Exactly. You don't. So for me, I always tell everybody, just use your brain, man. That's why we have it. Use it. It's very powerful. And the more you know, the better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So in this situation, and like I said, you know, we have a lot going on. There's a lot of things happening for, you know, the lost officer. They have a lot of foundations and things, you know, they can go through, like, you know, our FOP store, FOP site, our memorial page as well. They have everything going on to make sure that her family is taken care of. Yeah. She did not have kids because that rumor was
I heard about that too.
That she had kids and she did not have any kids. She has a dog. She's a dog mom. And they're definitely, you know, backing her. And I will say this with my experience, when I got hurt, I have a lot of great bosses who checked on me, called me, came by the house, you know, and my fellow brothers and sisters came by the house, called me, checked on me. Even to this day, they still call me, check on me, you know, and that's awesome. That's a great feeling to have, you know what I mean? So for me, it's just that experience I've had good experience working for this department. And then, like I said, working in the west and south side of our cities, you see a lot of things, right? And people always say this: why do it's always a high number of African Americans that get pulled over? Minorities in general, not even African Americans, black. They always say black and brown, and in the media, black and brown. But I've said this: okay, so if you look at numbers and statistics, right? So if you live in the Garfield area on the west side, Madison and Pulaski, is predominantly African Americans.
Right.
So who's going to get pulled over in that area?
African Americans.
African Americans.
Right.
Okay. If you are going through Little Village where it's predominantly Hispanics, who's going to get pulled over in the area? Hispanics. Yeah. So you can't say, oh, well, they only pull this over, they only pull that over. Well,
look at the area that they're
look at the area that you're in.
You know what? That makes a hell of a lot of sense. I never even thought about it that way. That makes a hell of a lot of sense. So
I always tell people, like, use your brain. Like, think about that. Use your brain. Every area is different. Every district is different. How many times, and it's happened to me growing up, how many times we get in a car with a friend who's so excited and happy that they got a car. And we're like, oh, dude, we're going to get in your car. Even if it's a beater, right? And then
Dodge Omni.
That's car. But you're excited about it, right?
Yeah.
But then think about this. You're excited about this car and you just want to drive this car. But now you're driving this car, you got a headlight out. But you don't care about your headlight because you just want to drive that car, or you got a brake light out, right? So now if you get stopped, you're going to be like, oh man, they're just messing with me. No, you have violations on your car that gave them the reason to mess with you. That's
another fucking thing. So I feel like everyone always says they weren't doing anything. Okay. There's been a rare case, not a rare case, well, the opposite of that. I've never seen a case or too many cases where literally it looked like you were not doing anything.
No, okay. Something happened.
Even like you said, it's like people get, it's just a tail light. It's a law that says you have to have tail lights, bro. I mean, what do you think was going to happen?
Exactly.
What do you think was going to happen?
Exactly.
Yeah. Is it something stupid? Yes, it's probably something stupid, whatever. But look, this is what you do. You take the fucking ticket. And I think that's the problem. People don't want to take punishment for the crime they. I want to say it's a crime. It's a tail light out. Violation.
Yeah,
sure.
Violation.
The violation you committed, you did it. Be responsible. Just shut the hell up. Get the fucking ticket and go pay it.
Accountability.
That's it.
No one wants to own that accountability for themselves, for the things and the actions they've done. They don't want to do it. It's like, oh well. Okay, it's just like you said. It's just a tail light. It's just a headlight. It's out. Yeah, we get it, but you caused someone to now pay attention to that.
Right.
And those are things that now you're getting stopped for that. You ran a red light. Well, why you stopped me for? Well, you
ran a fucking red light.
You ran the red light. You ran.
But he mad at you. But he mad at you because you pulled him. What do you mean? Yeah. What did you want me to do? This is my job. I'm supposed to do this.
I had every intention of getting a speeding ticket in that Dodge Omni, but it only went to 45. Couldn't get there.
Oh man, hey, that car was. We all kind of learned how to drive in that car.
Yeah,
a lot of us learned how to drive in that car.
Very scary, teaching you how to drive.
Whatever, we're gonna talk about that one.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I have such strong feelings when it comes to a lot of the stuff that's going on. And I don't want to say that I'm like one of the only ones that kind of think logically with this stuff. And again, I've seen situations where I feel that the cop was wrong in different situations. Obviously, not just here in the city, but a lot of the times it's like I've always felt like there's an easy solution to all these problems. A lot of them are just do what they tell you. And then again, I've always learned. I grew up with the mentality like, you're not going to win against a police officer on the street. You're going to win in court if you're going to win. If you have a point, you're going to have to win it in court.
Yeah.
To me, that's the easiest way. Just and I've had situations where I felt like I was wrong. I mean, I was right or whatever, but I didn't make a show. I didn't go and start arguing and get out. No, I'm not going to get out. No. Yes, whatever. You mean to get out of the car? Cool, no problem. You want to look in the car? Look in the car. I got nothing to hide. But people sometimes have stuff to hide. But then they want to complain when they get caught.
Yeah.
You have to own up for what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that would solve a lot of problems in the city.
Yeah,
know?
you've done something. So, most officers, obviously, we go through the academy. We study law. We're not lawyers, but we study the things that we need to study and learn to do the job.
Right.
So we know these things. So I always tell everybody, like, man, look, if you're driving around the city, then learn the city ordinance, learn the state laws in Illinois, learn these things. So that way, if you do get yourself in a situation and all your stuff is in order, then you'll be able to cover yourself. There's a lot of officers, that obviously when they pull people over, we have good interactions, and then sometimes the person that we're dealing with or talking to, they escalate it. You know what I mean? And then now a simple traffic stop just got escalated into something huge, something bigger. You know what I mean? And I get it. Everyone's always like, oh, but why do they have to do this? Why they got to do it? Why they got to get out of the car? Like, okay, like, dude, like, you put somebody over, and it's happened to officers. You put somebody over. You see the guy in the back seat with a cup, right? Now, I don't know what's in the cup, and I'm not going to assume. But then now you see a bottle roll from under the back seat, right? Okay. And now you have a conversation. All the windows are down, right? And then now you smell alcohol. Now, the alcohol could have came from somebody spilling in the car. You don't know that, right? But now it's a matter of, okay, people are drinking in the car, right? So we stopped you for a traffic infraction, and then now it can go from there. Right. So it can be, simple. Stuff are very simple. In the city, and it never fails. Everyone in the city, when they get stopped, they're like this. All the shootings going on in the city, and you guys stop me, and you're worried about this.
You know what? I've said that once or twice. You know what? You want to know what I think is the dumbest law? No. Well, you with your fucking seatbelt. Good Lord, bro. I'm surprised you haven't.
I just want to
pull them over.
If I crash, I just want to go.
Listen,
I don't want to be.
I think the stupidest thing. No, I don't want to say it's stupid because I understand what it's for, right?
Okay.
But so like the dumbest thing I've ever gotten pulled over is like noise pollution. So like my radio will be too loud, or my muffler will be too loud, or something. And I understand
it annoys people like me.
I get it. And I think I would justify it if I was parked in front of someone's house,
right,
and music was blasting. I get it because I'm disturbing people.
Right.
You're driving, so it's like. But I get it. Obviously, that was when I was younger. I wised up. I'm not as loud anymore. But I just the one gripe with the muffler that blows me is like, okay, cool. So my car can't be loud, but motorcycles can just drive by and they're loud as shit and nobody says nothing to them. That to me is like the most injustice thing ever to me.
Motorcycles kind of got to be loud so they're around, so you don't crash.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
I feel like it is.
We'll see when electric motorcycles come around.
I mean,
that's going to be a problem.
They'll be like the Teslas where they generate sound outside so people can hear them.
I guess.
But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just feel like, and even when I got pulled over for those things, what am I going to say? I did it.
Right.
So what am I arguing about? Why would I argue? I mean, okay. What am I going to say? I can't say anything.
Yeah.
But again, this is, I'm the type of person where like, if I'm wrong, when it comes to law enforcement, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yeah. And if I got an argument, then I'll argue. I have to argue somewhere else. I'm not going to argue there. But what? Like you said, it's just going to escalate. The police officer might get frustrated with me. I might start getting frustrated. What's the point? There's no good that's going to come out of that. Might as well just try to get it over with as fast as possible. Everybody on their way.
Yeah, and again, it's just it just depends on their situation, and you don't want to again escalate and elevate stuff. You know what I mean? Like. Even, I've got pulled over plenty of times. I got my first ticket in a suburb. I've sat there and also I've gotten, pulled over, even been on a job, before I upgraded my car. I had, the vehicle I was driving, the brake light went out. I didn't know that the brake light went out. I didn't know that. I hit a pothole. And when I hit this pothole, I guess it took out my light. So when I was braking, only one was showing up. So they stopped me for it, and I was just like, oh, this is odd because I didn't do anything. And then the guy said like, hey, I stopped you because your brake light. And I was like, oh man, I literally was like, oh, and I told him, I was like, well, can I check? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind, you can get in my car and hit the brake light for me so I can see it, right? Yeah. I want to visually see this so I know what to do. Because think about this, when you get in your car, unless you have someone with you, how can you inspect your car to know?
Right, you're like a single person that lives by yourself. How the hell would you know?
Exactly. How do you know this?
Unless somebody
for a semi truck or anything. Like
I mean, unless somebody tells you.
Exactly. And in my truck at the time, so in your cars, there's obviously like two lights. There's actually your lights when you turn it on and you're driving at nighttime, and then there's your brake light. So my lights were on, right? So you can see my lights, but then when I had the brake light, this light still stayed the same, and then this one's bright and lighting up. So they're like, yeah, your brake light's out. And the guy was like, I mean, yeah. He's like, no, I'm just letting you know. And he was really cool about it. And I was like, all right, well, I just got to get it fixed. I was like, man, you know what? I just left here. I'm actually here to hit it to the house. And I definitely hit a couple potholes because I know I was, it's just Chicago. It's Chicago. So, and he was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? He asked me if I have a driver's license, if I have insurance. I did. Did I tell him that I was on the job? No. I mean, I didn't have to tell him I'm on the job.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude, I got it. You know what I mean? And basically, I show him everything. And he's like, all right, just get that taken care of. Interaction done, over with. There was no other conversation. There was no other, any other interaction. Like, it was just, we both were leveled. All right, I complied with him. You know what I'm saying? He asked for that. I gave it to him. He told me why he stopped me. Told me the traffic infraction. I was like, all right, cool. I got it. And then because I stopped you, all right, you have your driver's license and you got insurance? Of course I do. I'm driving. I have it. That's one of the biggest pet peeves with me when in this city is that a lot of people get cars and they get insurance for 15 days. Because obviously when you get a car off the lot, you have to drive.
They'll put you on a binder.
You have to have insurance. So a lot of people just be like, all right, cool, I'll pay the $100 now for this coverage, but then I'm never gonna pay for the insurance again because I'm a careful driver or I'm a good driver or it's a beater car and they just don't care. Yeah. And then stuff happens and you're just like, oh dude.
I'm gonna tell you firsthand. So like I used to drive my cars a lot without insurance when I was younger. But recently I just got into an accident like a month ago. Complete accident. It wasn't like, nothing crazy or whatever.
Ninth one.
Huh? No, it was not. You're full of shit. You're full of shit. But so my car had. This is why you buy Toyotas, right? Toyotas are the greatest car ever. I hit a Toyota from behind, right? And all that car needed was a bumper. My car needed $7,000 worth of fucking repair.
Jeez.
I swear I'm buying a Toyota at some point.
I have a Toyota.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I love
it. I have a sports car.
No, you don't. You have a fucking coupe. Luxury coupe. You have a granddad car, bro.
Oh my God. I was laughing when he was telling that story about the thing because I remember the first time I was like maybe 15, 16. Ellie got pulled over in his Mazda. And he got so fucking nervous. He was like sweating profusely before the cop even got there. And he's like, all right, everybody, yeah, cool. Put your hands down, this and that. I was like, what? You got like a kilo in the back or something? What's going on? It was just like nothing. Something stupid.
A kilo didn't even fit in that little ass car.
I know, right?
Yeah, fucking Mazda.
I was just like wondering, what the hell is wrong with
that? I mean, I think everybody gets nervous. But you see, and then I don't know if you saw the video of the mother of the two guys that are in the killing that happened recently. Yeah. The mother kind of went off, and she was saying, "Oh, they were nervous. I get nervous. I mean, everybody gets nervous.
Yeah,
right. I mean, I don't think anybody wants or expects to get pulled over, but it's a nervous feeling. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not like Do
you know why they were nervous?
I know why they were nervous, but I mean, I'm talking about the average person. Let's talk about the average person.
They were nervous.
Let's talk about the average person.
Yeah,
without someone like me or you or whatever. If a cop pulls me over, what's the first thought in your head? What the fuck am I doing? So you're already trying to think. So you're already like, okay, did I do this? What did I miss? Or am I drunk? Am I not? Or whatever the fuck. So like the adrenaline starts to already spike a little bit. It's just natural. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's how we react to that. Like. We have to remain calm. Same thing with police officers. I'm assuming, the concept is to remain, de-escalate and remain calm as much as possible. And I think us as humans, us as civilians, we need to do the same thing. Absolutely. It's not an excuse for us to say, oh, well, I'm nervous, so that's why I pulled a gun. And no, that's not a fucking excuse.
Jesus.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, you could have just been cool, whatever. Like, I don't know, John, you look like you're white anyways, but I mean, I know you're Hispanic. I know you're Hispanic.
What?
Have you ever been
pulled over?
Yeah.
Yeah, right in front of my house.
Well, you lived in a bad neighborhood, bro.
Yeah.
You lived on Hamlin and North Avenue.
Yeah.
That was kind of
So it's like-
that was kind of rough back
So
then.
I had to get up early in the morning. It was like 4. I had to be at work at 5. So it's like 4:15 in the morning. I got into my car, and all of a sudden I see the lights flashing on me, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And the cop pulls me out, asked me if I have any tattoos, and then he goes, "What the hell are you doing in this neighborhood?" Because it's mainly Hispanic, and I look white. I'm like, "Dude, I live right there. What are you talking about? I'm Hispanic." He was like, "All right, cool."
It's funny how everybody who comes on the show always has to ask him, like, "Really? You're Hispanic? Really?"
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be like, say something in Spanish, bro.
Oh, we had somebody do that. Janetta, when Janetta was here, she was like, "Say something in Spanish.
Say something in Spanish.
Say something in Spanish." That's how she was all into it too. She was all into it. I don't know, man. It's a tough gig, man. I applaud you guys for doing it because I don't even know how to explain that. You know, like
we all have our experiences. Like I said, on the job, off the job, we're humans. At the end of the day, no officer is suiting up to say today's the day that something's gonna happen to me. Today's the day that I'm going to take someone's life. Like no officer wants to be and put in that situation.
Right.
And it's a scary situation for both parties.
right.
The officer and the person involved with that, because you don't know, obviously, you know what I'm saying, you don't know this person, right? But you don't know if this is a dad, you don't know if this is someone, I mean, obviously someone's son, someone's brother. We don't know that.
Husband, whatever.
Exactly. And so you think that an officer wants to take that family member away from their family?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And at the end of the day, we just want to go home because we're humans too.
Right.
We go out here, we do it. Like I said, I enjoy being on the west and south side because I grew up on the west side. So for me, I'm able to in a sense relate to the lifestyle of how everyone likes to be outside and kick it. It's not, well, today and age with all the shootings going on in the city, it's not the same. Like we used to be able to hang out on the porch on Central, hang out outside without worrying about anyone coming by.
I don't even want to stop at stop signs right now. I'm telling you. Bro.
Exactly. So now it's just like, man, you hear all this stuff happening. 2 guys sitting in a car. 2 guys just got off work and said they're going to sit in the car instead of going in the house and drinking. Why can't 2 guys sit in the car and just chill? No, 2 guys sit in the car and someone drove past, saw them in the car and decided to come back around the block and shoot in the car. It's like, dude, what?
This is getting insane. I'm telling you, I'm at the point where I'm like, you know, I kind of want to pack up and get out. Honestly, and I don't want to, I don't want to because I grew up here, you know, and it's awesome having the city here, you know, but I don't have kids. But one day I'm going to.
Right.
And my thing is, do I want them? Not that I don't want them to be exposed to it.
Right.
You know, but you
So
want
them to be
no,
exposed?
because I don't think it's a bad thing for them to know about.
No,
right?
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But like for them to be involved in that, that's when it becomes not just a problem for their safety, but how they're brought up. Because remember, you're only in you're in their lives for a majority of the part, but then they also have a part of that life that's going to be away from you.
Right.
And if they're in the wrong area or in the wrong whatever, or they're looking at the wrong thing, they start to grasp things from that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, we went to Calvin Park. When Calvin Park was relevant and it was bad, you know, we saw a lot of shit.
Right.
You know, I saw a lot of gang activity when I was in high school, you know, especially in the school and all this. I didn't get attached to that, but I saw it.
Right.
Now I go to thinking like, okay, that's me. That's how I responded. How's my son or my daughter going to respond to that?
Absolutely.
Are they going to get attached to that? I'd rather try to keep that at a distance. I know it's everywhere, right? But there's other areas that are not as bad. I mean, you were talking about Itasca and those places, and you know, I mean, those are quiet places where there's not so much, especially not like every day. Every day there's shootings here.
Yeah.
Every day.
I think they had something on the news, right, or something statistically that said like Chicago has not had a day of not shooting in like 19 months or something.
And that's horrible. That's
It's
horrible,
like,
dude.
It's like every day there's a shooting. Doesn't mean someone dies, but there's a shooting.
There's a bullet flying somewhere, and that's crazy. And I don't know. I mean, again, I don't live in a bad neighborhood. I mean, I'm
Right.
kind of in
you're like in a medium, yeah.
Yeah, like that going down that way, you got a lot of like Polish people and over there, and then you got some Hispanics going up towards Fullerton,
Right.
or whatever. Not too much happens around here, but even here, like I get freaked out because I mean, I remember one time I went to go play basketball pretty late at night.
Mm.
I go down Diversity. I'm going to Lions.
Okay.
So I'm going towards Harlem, whatever. I get past Austin, going towards Narragansett. Nothing, you don't think of anything because I've driven by here 100 times.
Right.
On my way back, literally, I think they had canceled that gym when I was on my way.
Okay.
So maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes have passed by. I'm heading back home. Cops close the street down. There's shell casing markers on the floor, blah, blah, blah. Somebody got shot there.
Mm.
And I'm like, wow, that was close.
Yeah.
Like it's right down the street. I was literally passing that intersection. And the what's messed up is that we, like you said, we can't sit outside in our front yard anymore.
Yeah.
Because we're worried about someone driving by with a fucking AR.
Yeah. And either they're bored because they want to shoot a gun and they just shoot innocent people, or they assume. The assumptions is he lives in this area, so he has to be
part of this.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing that you see all the time. So like I work in a district where it's the north end of our district is predominantly African American, south end is Hispanics, right? So there's all these different gangs. So now the generation with these gangbangers is that there's no real leadership, right? So they don't have that structure. And all these kids now, they're 14, 15, 16 years old, and they are like running the street, right? And they're the ones that are doing some things. And you look up and you read an article, 15-year-old carjacked a 91-year-old woman, and you're like, what is a 15-year-old doing with a gun, right? Like when I was 15, we were outside in the park playing basketball till the lights went off. Right. And we knew when to come home. And it wasn't a worry like our parents are like, we have to work. Now you have to worry about your kids walking to school, just walking to the corner store, just walking to the friend's house, walking across the street. I think like last year there was a story where the gentleman was a nurse, right? And he literally went to his parents' house to go to do laundry, and guys shot him because of where his parents lived. Like,
was that on the news? I feel like I remember that.
It was on the news. And I was just like, wow, dude, like, yo, he's doing laundry. He's not wearing any colors. He's wearing a white t-shirt and scrub pants, right? And you guys decided to shoot him. Like we like I said, growing up, I've grown up around African American. I've grown up around all cultures, right? I went to high school on North Side in Chicago, and it was all type of cultures. So I got to grow up around everything. So I got to know how all these different gangs are. Like, if you go to the North Side, well, now it's not like that now, but like mostly like all of the African American gangs was, if you're getting shot, you were on someone's territory trying to take their spot.
Right.
Like, we're out here we got merch, this is ours. And now you come over here trying to take that. Right. So that's gonna be that. So, and going to a Hispanic neighborhood, it's, you don't look like you belong over here. Hey, what are you? What you is? What you claim?
Oh my God.
It's like,
dude,
it's like,
whoa. Dude, the Hispanics, look at the Hispanics scare me. Okay. Little Village is somewhere I don't go to. And I used to club there. I used to club at Volcan on 26 and Kedzie every fucking weekend. Tell me why I'm out of my fucking mind, right? It's weird. So my cousin used to live, I want to say it was 16th and like Kedzie area.
Okay.
So it's majority African American in that area. Ironically, and I'm Hispanic, and I mean I'm not a dark Hispanic. I'm a regular, Hispanic. I felt more comfortable there, and I stood out because my cousin's really dark skinned. I stood out because I'm over there I probably look like him. I felt more comfortable there because I came to kind of realize or assume, I guess, and that's not the right thing to do. Like, I felt like as long as you don't mess with their stuff, you're fine.
Yeah.
You
can walk down the street and no one will say anything to you.
As long as you're not, you're not messing with what they're dealing or whatever the fuck. Now, Hispanics, Hispanics just don't want you there.
Yeah.
And it's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
Because I'm Puerto Rican, right? And over there's majority Mexican. I would go to the club and they would get mad at me. They would get, you know what they get mad at me for? Because, obviously every culture, does their own thing. Everybody dances different, blah, blah, blah. So like me and the guys, we were a bunch of Puerto Ricans. We would go to this club and we dance bachata a certain way. And the girls would love that shit. And everybody else would get mad. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. Can we share? It's all right, bro. It's all right. There's nothing to get crazy over.
You're taking our girls.
That's not my fault.
Yeah,
that's not my fault.
You're taking their girls.
Maybe they need it. Maybe they needed YouTube at the time so they can learn some Puerto Rican bachata.
Rico Suave over here.
Hey, I was not no more. I was. My back hurts too much now to do all that type of stuff.
And
then knee surgery shut me down. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about a little bit more about your police work and all that, and then we'll switch the topic.
I mean, like I said, a lot of people, I always just tell everybody, just do your research. Again, I got shot on the job, right? So I didn't think about getting shot that day. I didn't say, oh, this today, you know what I'm saying? And it was on a call, like every other call, so it happened to me. It changed my life. It definitely changed my life, and my thought process changed a little bit too. You know what I mean? Does that take away from me not being able to do the job in the future? No, not at all. Because if it wasn't me, it would have been another person, another officer, right? That happened to go to that call. You understand? Right. It was 6 officers there, and I was the only one that got hit. You know what I mean? So, it's just things happen, and it affected people around me, not just me. It affected the officers I worked with. It affected my family. It affected close friends.
I wonder what
to get that phone call.
Yeah, I'm like, not to get too personal, but I'm like, can you imagine, John, if your son, when he gets older, he's a police officer, you get a call like that?
My son will not be a police officer.
I'm just saying. I'm just playing the hypothetical.
Yeah, because
can you imagine?
I'm assuming the first thing they say is, your son was shot, and then your mind starts racing. Hopefully they
won't
okay.
tell you. They won't tell you that over the phone.
Be hurt in the line of duty or something.
It's just they'll be like,
well, that's even worse now, because now you're being really
you're panicking about what happened
because you don't know what happened. So you just think about that. So like when they called my parents to ask for my mom, like, oh, is this the mother or father of that officer? Okay, hey, something happened at work, and he's here, and you got to get here. But now you're a parent, your wife,
you're panicking.
Well, your mind's racing.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going on and what happened, and they're not going to tell you anything until you come down. You know what I'm saying? So
imagine, but hear this out. Imagine anyone as a parent or brother, sister, whatever. I mean, we don't ever want to hear that call from, like, John's my best friend. I don't want to hear that call, period. And he doesn't do a job like you do.
Right.
Where on an everyday basis, his life isn't per se in danger just because of what he does.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That's a whole different kind of worms when with someone like yourself, because it's like every day you're putting on a uniform to do a very dangerous job.
Right.
Hey, I lift heavy weights. Something might fall on me. You never know.
I'm totally cool with heavy stuff falling on you, bro. You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Might break a toe.
Anyways, it's possible.
Yeah,
it's very possible.
I did break a finger.
See, it happens. Things happen.
No, of course, it happens all the time. I don't know. It's a crazy time right now. Hopefully things get better.
Using their thing, the mom said they were nervous, right? Okay. So they were nervous, yeah. So they shot. So now you got 2 nervous parties. You got the people in the car that are nervous, and now you got cops that are nervous because this happened, and it just doesn't bode well.
Yeah, I think it just has to be a combination. I've always said it, even on the show. I've said it before. I think because everybody says police need to change. Police need to change. I think we need to change, and it's easier for us to change than the police officers. It's easier for us to just comply, right? Mm-hmm. It's just so much easier. Just do what you're supposed to do, and 99.9% of the time, you'll be fine. Because I've never heard a story of a police officer executing someone. I've never seen that.
No.
But I have seen a lot of people running from cops, fighting cops, and that's when things happen.
I just saw a video maybe like 2 weeks ago from here in Chicago on the South Side, and these guys, it was on, I think someone put it on TikTok, and there's like 4 officers, and then two were wrestling with one guy.
I saw it.
You saw that one, right? They were wrestling with one guy, and then as they're wrestling, and the officer gets on top of this guy, and the guy recording, he's laughing, he's like, yeah. And then a guy comes out of nowhere, and he's swinging and hitting this officer in the back of the head, right? So now, as a parent for that person, right, do you now sit here and say, if anything was to happen to that kid, oh, you know, because it never happens. The media does this where they're like, oh, my son was a honor roll student.
Oh, of course, they paint him as they paint him as the pride, joy of the city, and I'm like, I don't know.
What were you doing? And this kid or man, whoever he was hitting an officer, right? So you're striking an officer who's trying to lock up your friend for whatever reason they were trying to lock him up for, right? And you're hitting him, and now they turn around and they apply some type of use of force towards you. Something happens. Now the media is gonna, you know, say, oh, well, they should have done this or they should have done that. And I always tell people, like, yo, there's a video out here of a shooting that happened like last year, before my thing. Or was it after? Maybe I think it was after. But anytime you want to watch stuff, just obviously you go on YouTube and watch it, right? And there is a female boss, and this was out near Venom Park, right? Sure. And the video's out there, and the guy has a knife, and everyone's so quick to say, oh, you can tase someone with a knife. Listen, dude, a knife can seriously kill you as well as a gun. So if someone is less than 15 feet away, they will get to you in less than 3 seconds, especially if they're fast.
People are stupid.
So,
I've learned that.
And that's why I said, so in that situation, you have to understand the taser is only effective if you get if you get them right? So the prongs have to catch, right? And if this person is wearing 2 hoodies, baggy jeans,
you ain't gonna feel shit.
They're not gonna feel the prongs, right? So they're still charging at you with a knife.
Wasn't that like the case of that one cop? He pulled over like a Camaro looking for the owner of the car, and I think the girlfriend was in there or whatever, and she didn't want to get arrested, so she starts walking around the car. The officer pulls out his taser. He's tasing her. She's still able. So she grabs the gun from like a glove box or whatever and shoots the cop. He returned fire or whatever, and I think she died later on. She died
later on, but she
crashed.
She drove away. Yeah,
she almost hit him. Yeah. She could have hit him. And this is where I'm like, okay, I get the taser thing. But every situation is different.
Yes.
A taser and a knife are 2 different weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would tase someone if they're swinging at me with fists. You have a weapon, okay? I can't get close to you. I mean, that's just the end. That's like you said. There's no way. I'm not going to get close to you.
The people saying that are saying it
are idiots
according to your life. If it was their life, they sure as hell using a taser.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. So if they had
a bazooka, if
this was happening outside in front of the house right now, would you go grab a taser? Probably not. No. You would grab a gun. To protect yourself with.
Absolutely.
I mean, and what do you expect the cop to do? We're vital humans. We're fragile humans like everybody else.
Escalate as they're running towards you. Hey, calm down.
No, they want to
take a breather.
They want people to call. What are the therapists? Social workers. They want to call social workers because they're gonna run into the line of fire.
Well, my thing is like, all right, if you're gonna challenge someone like who's having mental issues, right? So if a person's have mental issues, now you're putting a social worker in harm's way as well. And now, not only that happened, now it's like this. Now, who are you going to blame and put the blame on initially? You know what I mean? Like, even think about this. Like I said, like firefighters in the fire department, right? If there's a shooting, a paramedic is not going to go into an area until it's secure. We have to do our job, right? Because that means the person, whoever has that gun, is still out there. Oh, and they don't know where it's at. Like, I work midnight. It's dark. You imagine chasing someone in the dark, how that is, and people don't think about that. And they're like, oh, well, you shouldn't have been chasing. Well, okay, if that's
let you run, just let you go.
Well, it's not even let that person go, right? But then what if this person just just, this person has a gun and has the intent to go and hurt somebody, right? But the person they hurt, they don't get it. They never get the person they want, but they get the innocent person just walking out the door, right?
Of course.
And then what if that's your family member? So now you're like, you have to think, and I always tell people, like, yo, think of the worst case scenario before you pass judgment on the situation, because what if that person was going to go and do something and your mom just so happened to be walking out? Your relative just so happened to be walking out and get caught in that.
What's funny about it is that the situations that we see display that. I remember there was another one. I think that happened where there was a bunch of cops and they were like in the back of like a pickup truck, and they went to go grab some guy. They had a warrant to arrest the guy, and then he tries to drive off, and they shoot at the car, and I think they killed him. And people are like, "Oh, why did they shoot in the car? He was fleeing. They should have let him go and grabbed him somewhere else." Yes, maybe, but I will say one thing about that. Is a criminal who's running from law enforcement going to stop at a stop sign? No. Is he going to stop at a red light? No. Is he going to stop, like you said, when your mother is crossing the street and he needs to get through there? Is he going to wait, or is he going to hit her like in the opening of the Wayans Brothers, like the bus? Probably like that.
Yeah.
So let's think about this. Nobody thinks, like you said, worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is they don't shoot. He drives off and he runs over a kid who's chasing after a basketball on the street. And then who do we blame then? Who do we blame?
I don't know if I want to say this because I might incriminate you, but you sure didn't stop when we were getting chased by them goons,
dude. But I did the smart. I did the smart thing. I tried to follow a cop. I was gonna fly by the cop, so the cop had me. So he pulled me over. So I'll take the ticket. But then I crashed. So hey, whatever. That was your fault.
No,
that was your fucking fault. Who told you to start throwing up gang signs?
I wasn't throwing up gang signs. I was saying no, don't kick the car.
That looks like gang signs to me.
What?
You're flashing your hands.
There you see?
Right.
It's kind of hard to see that.
You have a large red Von Steuben hoodie on.
I'm telling you, it is what it is. You know what? We could have died that day. You should be thanking me that I freaking ran from these people. They could have killed us all.
You don't know that. Listen, people get chased all the time, and I always say that, like, you hear about all these like expressway shootings, and you're just like, yo, like, dude, who drives on the expressway to just either shoot at random cars or mistaken identity? I heard a story.
They watched The Matrix too. That's what it was.
Is that what it is? Like,
it's all the highway scene in The Matrix too.
2 years ago, some guy shot at a car. He shot at like a Honda, right? It was like a Nissan Maxima. Shot at like a tan Nissan Maxima with a lady in that car, right? He shoots at the car. He goes, it's not the car. So he's probably like panicked. Gets off the expressway like 3 exits later and sees the car that he wanted to get. And then he goes and shoots at that car too. So it's like, yo, really? But again, I always say
they can't even get the people that they want right.
Right.
No. Fucking guys.
So I always like, like I said, I'm old school, right? I was born in the mid-'80s. So like, I love old school movies, like gangster movies, because I'm like, yo, those guys were real gangsters. Like Italians back in the day wearing suits committing hits. Yeah. These guys are like, and if they wanted to get Fat Joe Frazier, they're going to get Fat Joe Frazier. And they're not going to get everybody else. Fat Joe Frazier is going to be somewhere coming out somewhere. And they're going to be like, yo, they're going to wait for him. They probably put something in his car. We see the movies, right? We see all these movies, Goodfellas and stuff. So they got who they want.
Isn't it like Scarface in that scene?
It's up close and personal.
It's up close and personal.
Isn't it like Scarface in that scene when they have that bomb underneath the guy's car?
Exactly.
And he's like,
the worst Spanish in cinema history. That guy.
Oh my god!
I don't know why they casted him to play a Cuban guy, but
whatever. I mean,
it was bad.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was like a different class to it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, mind you, they're doing illegal shit, but like, it's like at least the innocent wasn't as. We didn't have so much tragedy when it came to it. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just like
and show. The kids were out there on their balconies watching it go down because they knew nothing was going to happen. It was going to be a knife to the back or something like that. They were going to slit the guy's throat.
There you go.
They weren't in any danger. But it's funny. It kind of makes sense what you're saying, that it's the kids nowadays that are running the show. And kids, they don't think ahead. You cannot get away with murder. Nowadays, it's really hard. If the cops, like, there's video everywhere.
Yeah, cameras everywhere.
and they're not thinking, okay, I'm gonna throw my life away shooting some random guy because he's walking down a block. It's just it makes sense that it's kids and not because an adult would think a little bit more.
Right. Can you imagine if every citizen in the city of Chicago had a Ring doorbell?
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Mike actually.
This would be.
It'll be, what's that movie that's like that? That's like all about cameras. It's an old movie with Will Smith and Gene
Enemy of the State.
Enemy of the State. That's the one. Enemy of the State. It's like one of those type of movies. Like, man, it's just so much. There's so much. Like it's crazy to think that movie's so old, right? We barely had Nokia phones at the time.
Yeah,
and to think that
I think it came out like 97,
and it's almost legit. Like you can find anything nowadays. You know, it's crazy. I don't know. This city's kind of crazy right now. Like I said, I try to.
We're gonna be the next Detroit.
You know, and this is
so we're
crazy.
Gonna have a RoboCop.
Well, it's crazy that he's saying that, but that's what everybody is saying, is that our city is going to be the next Detroit. And I'm offended by that. Like, I don't know to be upset. Like, if I was from Detroit, I'll be like, wait a minute. Like, I get it. Our city went through a lot of stuff, and, obviously they had the Ford company out there and everything like that. And that whole, it was really good to be out there, and then it took a dive, and now it's like that. It's like
a ghost town over there now.
It is. But then look what's happening here in Chicago. It used to be good to go downtown. Now I don't take my kids downtown, especially after 5:00. Not gonna happen. No, because all the stuff that we see, it's like, oh, dude, these kids are meeting up, and now you have 300 teenagers. Now, if we're 3 downtown and we're like, oh, dude, we're gonna go to Buckingham Fountain, we're gonna chill, we're gonna go meet up with some girls, we're gonna go see some stuff.
I agree with you, because I couldn't even go to the fucking Christmas tree without some shit happening. And mind you, again, this was at the time when they were getting into stores and all that stuff and all the BLM stuff. But I mean, fuck me, I just wanted to go see a tree. I hadn't seen one, and I haven't gone over there in that time for years. I just wanted to go to Starbucks, get a hot chocolate, and go look at a fucking tree. That's all I wanted to do.
You would have probably got assaulted while you were down there.
I went, but then we couldn't even get close to that tree. We had to go watch the cheaper tree down by the Apple store, so we had to walk over there. But whatever, it is what it is. I agree with you. I think nowadays it's just such a. You try to think positive of the city, but it's like it's just so much negative.
Absolutely.
I don't know what'll help it. But let's change the topic a little bit.
All right. Well, I would just say this, or anyone who's not aware of the officers, definitely keep them in your prayers. Okay.
Absolutely.
Officer French, Officer Giannis. We all praying for you. We all love you guys, and just keep those families in your prayers.
Absolutely. So you're also referee.
Absolutely.
That's why I ran into you for the first time. Well, what made you want to do that?
So I realized I'm getting old.
Yeah, I'm feeling like that too.
I can't play the game forever, so I said I still want to be a part of the game. So how can I be a part of the game without taking a step back from playing? Sure. And I was like, oh, I can officiate.
There you go.
So now learning how to officiate the game. It's like any other thing you started out. It's a little tough because you don't know what you're looking for. All this stuff is all about angles and watching everything in your direct line of sight, and then your peripherals too. So you got your eyes got to move. You got to be all over the place. Right. And I fell in love with it. I already loved the game of basketball, but now I get to officiate the game. I get to watch great players play. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool for me because actually. Where was I? I was out south at Perspectives High School. But this is when Anthony Davis was just about to go. I think he was a freshman. But I got to do a game with this kid. He was tall too. But I got to see this kid.
Just a twig, right?
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, that's cool. And I remember that, oh, dude, these kids that come out of Chicago, you get to do their games.
That's cool, man.
And it's oh, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? THT that went to Simeon. I got to do some Simeon games. So it's you get to see these guys, and now these guys are in the NBA, right?
That's cool.
So it's just one of those things. Man, and it's like I said, just still being around the game, it feels really good.
I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not a young chicken anymore. I'm kind of old. My knees hurt, my back hurts, all that type of stuff. I can't jump no more. It's funny because you have to find something right? Because everybody has to have like that. Really, like John has the gym. I'm not gonna go to the gym. Basketball obviously has to take a back seat at some point. At this point in my life, I've been having a lot of back pain and all that. I almost want to write a like Kobe's thing, like a whole Dear Basketball thing. Like, leave me alone. I'm done with you. Like, fuck this. You messed me up.
I got your starting thing. Dear Basketball.
Good opener.
I was never really good. And I'll write it for you.
Screw you. I was an athlete, bro. How many times I gotta tell you that? I was. I'm not anymore.
There's a bunch of athletes that are not good.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Whatever. That's true.
So you guys met because he was officiating your game,
right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times did you have to call him for holding? I mean, carrying.
No, I don't think I ever really called him for carrying or anything like that. Yeah.
I never claimed to be a great basketball player. I'm not. I've always felt that I'm one of those players that
that's for sure.
We're talking about me now.
Okay.
Please.
No, go ahead.
I've always felt that I'm the type of player that I can fit in a lot of teams.
Right. So you took the word out of my mouth. I was gonna say, reffing you were a role player. Like you knew how to play the role that you got in the game to do. And obviously, a lot of guys that play in these games, they're not as tall as you. So they always like, oh, this guy, he's not gonna do anything, right? But he knew how to play his role and his part, and I respect that. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I played with a lot of good players in my time. Like when I was younger, I used to play with like Frankie and all those guys, and those guys were really, really fucking good.
Yeah, Frankie.
Yeah, you don't know who I'm talking about. Like I've always prided myself that like I can give what not now. Okay. Back then, I can give what you needed from me. So
exactly.
if you needed me to grab rebounds, like I used to be pretty athletic.
Yeah.
If you needed me to play defense, I would guard anybody when I was younger. If you needed me to score, I could score. I was a decent scorer, but if you didn't need me to score, if I had a Mike Morales on my team or whatever, I know I can give them the ball. Right. Or if I have Dez on my team, like I give him. I don't need to score. My job is to help them get on. Correct. You know what I'm saying? That's my job, at least at this part of my life. And I've always been that way. Like I don't want to. I know people are better than me.
Right.
I get that. So how can I help the team with what I can do?
Absolutely.
That's always been my mentality.
And that's the mentality that most people should have. But
now in an open gym, woo,
yeah,
open
now
gym, forget
it's just everybody wants to be a
fucking
star.
Oh
and I used to laugh at everybody, and they'd be like, "Oh, export 2 p.m. serious hoopers only." And then you get these guys, you're just like, "Dude, you're not a serious hooper. You're not a serious hooper. You're definitely not a serious hooper." But you guys come to export because it's the only time that you guys get to do what you do. And then you do stuff, and you get upset if we're like playing, and I'm just like, "Dude, I'm not gonna play this game. I'll play next and pick up my own team. I'm not playing with this guy."
Absolutely,
dude. You're out here. You're shooting the ball. You asked for the ball twice, shot air balls, and then you look at us stupid, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What? I was open. Okay, yeah. So was 2 other players, and they were closer to the rim.
If you missed 10 shots, then you probably shouldn't take that 11th one.
Exactly.
I mean, I get Kobe said it once before, but like, you're not Kobe.
You're not Kobe. Exactly.
Serious hoopers only, and then my fat ass walks in.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always, like again, I play with a lot of people, and it's just like I agree with you. Like some people, like I don't know. I fell in love. You know what I really liked when I really felt like I really liked playing was when I started liking passing the ball. Like I love an assist probably more than scoring the basketball.
Right.
Like a good pass to me feels freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Like I loved it when in the NBA when they started like doing the whole thing and all this. I'm like, hell yeah, that's my cup of tea because I love that shit. And
Chris Webber started that.
You and this Chris Webber thing. This man thinks that Chris Webber is the greatest basketball player ever play.
Really?
He's up there.
Really?
Like Michael Wilt and then
wow.
Chris Webber.
Wow.
Chris Webber.
Yeah, you're gonna get some flack for that one.
Oh my! Well, he has on this show.
Yeah,
a lot.
Flack for that.
I mean, again, I won't say that he's not a great player.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wasn't Chris Webber the guy that called the timeout?
Oh,
they didn't have no
man.
more timeouts, wasn't it?
Because he was being told to by his bench.
Wasn't that the Chris Webber?
That was
you're
that damn
talking about,
Jalen
man?
Rose. I'm telling you, Jalen Rose was like this, and he calls the timeout.
Again, he's a good player.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
Obviously, he's a Hall of Fame player this
Fame.
year, going in this year.
Why is Tony Kukoc going in?
Seriously?
International. I want to say it's his overall.
Yeah, well,
I want to say it's overall.
Like wherever,
because it's not just NBA.
I forgot where Tony Kukoc is from, but wherever he's from,
Turkey.
He's
No?
he's not from Turkey. He's a
Serbian?
monster.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's a monster there. Like he is a beast.
He was like Jordan over there. 'Cause
was-
remember, that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying when they went to the Olympics. That's why they picked on him.
How much could he have done over there if he got? Didn't he come into the league like at 19, 20? He was
a little
young.
older than that.
No, he was
No,
older
because he
than
played
that.
over there. He's from
23,
Isn't he from like Croatia?
Croatia.
Croatia,
I think
probably
so.
something like that.
Serbian Croatia.
He was really good though, because that was the whole concept, was that the Bulls were hype on him when he was going to enter the draft, and that's why Jordan and Pip
We
they
all
made a.
saw The Last Dance.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I'm
the
just-
thing,
I'm just
but the
iterating what
thing
it
is that he was playing on those national teams. So when the USA would play them before he came to the NBA, they knew who he was because he
Obviously he was good. Obviously he was good.
he was already getting buckets over there, and they're just like, "Oh, dude, this is their top. This is the top person right here. This is it right there."
Tony was a really good player.
Yeah,
I think he had a lot of tools. He was pretty tall. He had a good shot. I mean, he can finish at the rim.
Left-handed. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he kind of reminds me of like a Hito Turkoglu.
Yeah.
Like Hito Turkoglu wasn't great, but he was super solid. Even in both teams. I mean, when he was with Sacramento, he was solid. That was they drafted him, right? If I'm not mistaken. And then he ended up in Hito Turkoglu. They drafted him,
so. Yeah.
and then he ended up in Orlando, and he was killing in Orlando. You know, before obviously age catches up to everybody.
They did say that Tony was like the first stretch forward. He could dribble. He can shoot.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
I don't remember.
I mean, unless you
that
count
far. I don't remember
Scotty.
other teams that much. but-
Scotty might be a stretch forward
Oh yeah,
because he's pretty. Even though he ran the point a lot of times, but
They're like kind of some of the first ones that came out.
yeah, I agree.
But, obviously the game is elevated, and I was just actually talking to someone. I was growing up and watching basketball. You had all these positions, and they actually
Played those.
you played the positions. You're a center. You did not have a Karl Malone trying to be a point guard. Well, now you have.
God, no.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so like you have someone like Kevin Durant who plays center or power forward, and he's a ball handler.
Right.
That was something that we didn't see.
Same
growing
thing.
up.
Same thing with guards. I mean, guards back then. Point guards were point guards.
Point guards, like obviously,
They were setting up plays. The play was not for them. I think Mike kind of changed that up a little bit because he's technically a point guard. But point guards like Stockton, Hornacek, Kerr, all these people, they were legit point guards. Even the stars, like let's say Gary Payton, who was a scoring point guard per se, he passed a lot. But now it's different.
Yeah.
Now the point guards they're the scorers. They're the scorers. You have to be a guard or shooting guard. You're going to be 100% score.
Yep.
You have to be a scorer, let alone shoot threes. Nowadays, you gotta shoot bombs because if not,
It don't matter what your position is.
you gotta shoot threes. Yeah, that's true.
Center.
Because the big man
It
doesn't
don't
exist
matter.
anymore.
It
At least
doesn't.
not the way it used to.
Yeah.
The only one that plays kind of like that is probably like Embiid
Well, think about this. This is how you have to think of the way
or Giannis.
the way society is, right? And the way everything is. Back in the day, how you had big guys, right? And there was competitive with those type of big guys. Now, think about the big guys that you have, right? It's like the same. It's like evolution. It's like you're watching it and you're like, wait, look at all these guys, how genetic they were, right? And then you like look at guys now and you have these 7-foot guys.
Super freaks now.
Yes. It's like
it's insane.
dude, like wow.
Like, what are they putting in the milk?
What
And it's the truth. It's the truth because I look at it like so if you want to say in the 90s and in the 80s and the 90s, Michael Jordan was the most athletic player in the league,
okay.
right? I think now you have a lot of players that are more athletic, not better, more athletic than Michael Jordan. And more of them, okay? So like you have 20, 30 players that can jump just as good as Michael Jordan or better. It's crazy to think back then Jordan was on a pillar by himself.
Jordan, Dominique.
Who else? No. Jordan flew. Dominique was almost 7 foot.
Dominique wasn't.
He was like 6'9".
6'7".
He was like LeBron's
But
height.
he can jump.
I'm not saying he couldn't jump,
Like,
but Jordan was 6'6", jumping like that.
That's 1 inch.
I think Dominique was a little taller than 6'7". He was probably like LeBron's height.
No, but I get it. There's more athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
there's
sure.
hella more athletes now.
For sure.
How long are we going? We're at an hour and a half. So we're gonna wind down. And you can come back, bro, whenever you want. We can talk about this stuff for days. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Great time, John.
Yeah, I like the shirt you're rocking today.
I never said I wasn't a PlayStation fan, but
What?
this is the original PlayStation.
Okay.
That is, yeah.
Okay, so let's keep that clear. Before we finish, I want to say thank you, man, because I mean you serve the city.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, because you do things like I said that a lot of people wouldn't do, and having you guys around is a plus, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys inviting me on and, you know, listening to me talk and, you know, explain situations. So I appreciate you guys.
Cool. You're good?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, cool. So that's going to be our show for today. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, everything we said is in our opinion. And if you don't agree with it, I got 3 words for you. Thanks for listening.